What's up, everyone? Today I'm bringing a deck profile on my Starry Night deck. Now, Starry Night's a very interesting deck. It kind of plays. It's kind of like inspired by Lightsworn. It's really like the Judgment Dragon. But this deck got a bit stronger with the new Bystials, so it's definitely a lot more consistent. And without further ado, let's get right into it. First, 3 Starry Night Rael. When Rael is normal summoned, you can add 1 Starry Night spell trap from your deck to your hand. As an additional effect, when it's in the graveyard, you can banish this card from graveyard, target 1 Starry Night monster in your graveyard, except Rael, special summon it. One thing I noticed is there's a lot of really good cards in Starry Night. Like, not only is this a special summon a Starry Night from the grave, but it also searches a spell and trap. And the spell and traps are very important in this deck. I also run Orbital, another very important card. It has a quick effect where you can target 1 light monster you control, tribute it, and if you do, set 1 Starry Night spell trap directly from your deck, which is definitely really good because, like I said before, your spells and traps are really make this deck work. And the thing is, it just says target 1 light monster. It didn't say except itself, so you can just tribute itself to set a Starry Night spell trap. And additionally, if it's in the graveyard and a level 7 light dragon monster you control returns to the hand, you can spell summon it from the graveyard. So literally you can just keep bringing it back, and basically it gives you great access between these two cards, or between the Rael and the Orbital. You got very good access to all your spells and traps. Next, I run 2 Astel. Astel has a quick effect where you can target a light monster you control, tribute it, and if you do, spell summon 1 level 7 light dragon monster from your hand. So that's definitely pretty good because you want to be spell summoning the Starry Dragon from your hand because that's the main point of this deck. Just like Lightsworn is to go into Judgment Dragon, Starry Night is to go into Starry Dragon. And additionally, you can banish this card from your graveyard to target 1 level 7 light dragon monster you control. You can't 2,000 attack until the end of your opponent's turn. That can be useful in certain scenarios, but you mainly want it for the first effect. Also run the 1 Flamel. It's got a better effect than Astel, but more situational than Astel. Where Astel has to be on the field to activate, Flamel can be activated in your hand. When your opponent monster declares an attack, you can send this card from your hand or face up field to the graveyard. Spell summon a level 7 light dragon monster from your hand. Now, Flamel, unfortunately, your opponent monster has to declare an attack. If they don't, you can't even activate Flamel. But Astel, you still can. It also has a quick effect to banish itself from the graveyard to target 1 level 7 light dragon monster you control, or in the graveyard, return to the hand. That's also really good, so it allows you to... So what you want to do is summon the Starry Dragon, bounce it back, summon, bounce it back, summon, bounce it back, summon, because it is not a once per turn. I also run the 1 Starry Night CL. If this card is in hand, you can return 1 Starry Night monster from, or 1 level 7 light dragon monster that you control to the hand. And it's special summon the card. So basically, bounce back any of your Starry Nights to summon itself. And if you grant this card from graveyard, special summon 1 level 7 light dragon monster from your hand. All the effects of being able to special summon the level 7 light dragon and then return a level 7 light dragon are very important because it allows you to keep reusing the effect of Starry Dragon. Speaking of Starry Dragon, I run 3 Starry Dragon. Starry Dragon is really good. If it's normal special summon from the hand, you can target 1 card on the field, destroy it. And that is not a once per turn. You summon it 5 times, you can use this effect 5 times. And that's really what the strategy does. It has an additional effect to where it cannot be destroyed by battle with a dark monster or by a dark monster's effect, which is definitely some nice cool protection. And once per turn during a damage step, if this card attacks an opponent's monster, you can banish that opponent's monster until the end phase. Also, this card can make a second attack. So say your opponent's got 2 monsters, you can attack, banish that one, then just attack the second one normally. Next, I run 3 Bystial Lubellion and 3 Bystial Magna Hut. Now, you may be wondering, when did Lubellion come as a common? The answer is it never did. I don't know if you can tell from here, but this isn't a real. These ones aren't real. Well, it's because as much as I'd like to have an actual Bestial engine, that's like $250 or something like that. But by using these for deck profiles, it's definitely much cheaper, and I can actually use it. But either ways, the Bestials are really good in this, especially Magna Hut, because that allows you, it basically gives you access to the Starry Dragon, which is definitely really good. So basically, almost in every scenario, you will have access to a Starry Dragon. And in several cases, you may have access to multiple Starry Dragons right off the bat. So that's definitely really good. You can also use it to search out the other Lubellion, and the Lubellion searches out Magna Hut. So you definitely run around Bystials in this because it makes it just so much more better. Also run 1 Barrier Statue of Heavens. This can come up sometimes. If you draw it, then it's another good card to have. If you don't, it doesn't really hurt it because if you draw to this and you also got Magna Hut, you can easily just go to summon the Magna Hut first and then summon the barrier statue, because really if you're locked into lights, that doesn't really hurt you, because the main goal of this is to keep summoning the Starry Dragon, which is a light. Moving on to spells, I got 3 Starry Night Balefire. Balefire is a Rhoda for all your Starry Night monsters, as well as 1 level 7 Light Dragon monster. And if you control no monsters, or if your opponent controls a dark monster, or if you control a monster and your opponent controls a dark monster, you special summon 1 level 7 Light Dragon monster from your hand. You're never really going to use that effect. It's more or less going to be to search out your Starry Night monsters. I also run 3 Starry Night Ceremony. Ceremony and the Trap Arrival, you want to see very quickly, because if you have both of them as well as the Starry Dragon, then you're just going to be in control of the game almost right from the get-go. Because Starry Night Ceremony has several cool effects. First, during your main phase, you can reveal a light fairy monster in your hand. And if you do, add a level 7 light dragon monster, then place the revealed monster on the bottom of the deck. That's really nice, but it doesn't really come up too often. The second effect is even better. If your opponent activates a card or effect, you can special summon 1 level 7 light dragon monster from your hand. So you can even do this during your first turn. Like, let's say you get hand trapped, you can use this to summon a Starry Dragon right away. Granted, there may not be a whole lot of uses for it, but that's definitely really good. Also run 1 Starry Night Sky. I had an extra spot, so I just went with it. And this is a card that's going to come up. It doesn't really come up too much, but it's just like extra extending. During your main phase, you can normal summon 1 Starry Night monster or 1 level 7 Light Dragon monster in addition to your normal summon. So it's a double summon, but also has an additional effect. If a face-up level 7 Light Dragon monster you control returns to the hand, you can draw 1 card. And you return it a lot, so basically every turn you can almost like essentially draw 1 card, which is definitely really good. Also run 3 Celestial Transformation. Celestial Transformation is pretty good. Special summon a fairy monster from hand, and his monster attack is halved and destroyed during the end phase. So, like that being, it's kind of like a double summon, also like the field spell. Although the cool thing with this is you can also use it in tandem with something like Orbital, which is a quick effect. So you can use the effect Transformation, summon Orbital during your opponent's turn, use its quick effect to set a spell trap. I also run 3 Pot of Prosperity. Your extra deck is, you use it, but not a whole lot, because your the main way you do damage is by attacking with the Starry Dragon. But if you need a little bit of extra help, Pot of Prosperity is definitely a really good card to run. And also run the 1 Called by the Grave, because you don't want to get hand trapped. Even though getting hand trapped in this deck probably isn't the worst thing, you still never want it to happen. And it's also good against 2 elements. Next, I run 3 Starry Night Arrival. Kind of like Ceremony, has a cool effect where you can special summon 1 level 7 Light Dragon monster from your hand. But additionally, you can target 1 level 7 Light Dragon monster you control, or you can special summon 1 level 7 Light Dragon monster from your hand, and you can also target 1 level 7 Light Dragon monster you control, return to the hand. So you can either summon it or return it to the hand. Unfortunately, you can only use 1 of these effects per turn. It would be really nice if it was either or, but you can only use 1. But usually, one thing you can do is you can summon it with Ceremony, then use the effect of Arrival to bounce it back. And with you being able to bounce it back, so you can like special summon your turn, or special summon on your opponent's turn, bounce it back on your turn. Then with the field spell, you can draw 1 card, do just all sorts of things. I run 3 Starry Night Blast. Blast is kind of iffy at times. When your opponent activates a card or effect, return 1 level 7 Light Dragon monster you control to the hand, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Unfortunately, you have to control the Starry Dragon in order to activate it. But with the Bystials, that's not really too much of a problem. And it even helps with the rest of the deck, because the cost is to return the Starry Dragon to your hand, which will then trigger the effects of Orbital, as well as a few of the other Starry Knights. Moving on to the extra deck. First, I run Hieratic Dragon, Heavenly Spheres. Just a pretty good generic dragon card. I also run Lina. Lina you definitely want to run. More so because with Lina, if you summon the Barrier Statue and you want to go into, like, let's say, I don't know, Access Code Talker. Obviously, you can't do that with the Barrier Statue on the field. So you can at least use Lina to get rid of it. I also run the 1 Barricade Board Blocker. I run a bunch of continuous spells, so you never know when that might come up. Also run a Nightmare Unicorn and Access Code Talker to finish games. Now for the XZs, I run 1 Abyss Dweller. Good against grave strategies. Dieris is also a pretty solid option, because being able to draw 2 is definitely obviously really good in this deck. Also run Ptolemaeus. Sometimes you'll be able to summon it, but that's only when you get like 3 level 4s. But if you do, it definitely pays to go into Nova and Infinity. Also run 1 Dragonlark Perrin. Since Magna Hut's a level 6, yeah, I run a couple rank 6 to kind of at least get them off the field. I could use links, but I could also use some XYZ monsters like Parent. Parent's pretty cool because during the standby phase, you can detach material from this card, then target one level 5 or lower monster graveyard, spells to summon it. And the cool thing is, that just says during the standby phase. It doesn't say whose standby phase. It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect with a monster other than itself. I also run number 24, Dragless the Vampiric Dragon. I'm sorry, with the purple lettering, it's kind of hard to read. This is also a worm, which still doesn't make sense. That's a dragon. How is it a worm? Anyways, once per turn, quick effect, you detach material from this card, and target a face-up monster on the field that will special summon from the extra deck, changes to face-down defense position. That can come up situationally. Really depends on what your opponent's doing. Also run the 1 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. You just use 2 Starry Dragons, and basically every time your opponent activates a card effect, you get to burn them. And I also run 2 Zeus. In a very simplified game state, that's definitely going to be a very good card to have to just at least be able to kind of control the game. That's it for my Starry Night deck profile, or I guess technically Bystial Starry Night. Let me know, what do you think of this deck? Think it's pretty cool? Think that Bystials really make this deck a lot more powerful? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye.